Normally I wouldn't approach ya without a formal introduction. Never been the type to move fast, but feeling early eruption. Now tell me, are you down with that? Once you rock with me, ain't no coming back. I need a monkey, come hold me down. A real queen, now come wear this crown. Now we rockin' like, oh, holler out, flex up. Now we rockin' like, oh, I'll tell you what's next up. Now we rockin' like, oh, holler out, flex up. Now we rockin' like, oh, I'll tell you what's next up.
Yo, what is up? I'm here again with another great episode. If you follow me on Facebook, you already know what the next episode is about. I got 3 of my classmates. All of us are now almost a year. It's almost a year. If you think about it, next month literally is the day we started going to the course in July, right? Yep. These are 3 of some great friends. I'll tell you like this, I miss y'all so much. There's a lot more people too, but I'm just fortunate. If y'all don't know, I'm in Fort Drum, New York. Mcbane's in Bliss, in Texas. I got this dude top right corner, Mr. G. He in Germany right now via Fort Hood. And then this guy over here, what's his name on his name on Discord? The Moose from Alaska. Brock Lesnar himself, Montana. Oh man, this is gonna be a great one. It's titled "We Are Career Counselors Now." You know, I want y'all to talk about starting off right. And we already know the order. We talked about this already. Mcbane already like chewed me out for making her go first, but now it's different, right? But I want to talk about your prior MOS before changing, and how did you become changing into a career counselor? The whole backstory. So, Brock, go ahead first.
All right. Well, good morning, and yes, it is morning here in Alaska. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. All right. I'm Staff Sergeant Wilson. I'm sitting here at Fort Wainwright, Alaska. My prior MOS before coming to a career counselor is 12 November. Horizontal construction engineer, all right? My whole career, I've been an engineer. I still miss it and love it till this day. But some things happened along my career to where something I needed to change, all right? Some of those things were, I was a sergeant E5, non-promotable, getting thrown to a platoon sergeant position, which I thought was temporary. Ended up turning into a 7-month stint. After that, I took over a company headquarters platoon for 10 more months, all right? So as an E5, a sergeant, eventually promotable, I've got 17 months rated platoon sergeant time as an E5. And me, I'm married with 3 kids. So my day consisted of, unlocking the company, first one at work to one of the last ones to leave. So I had like hour and a half with my kids each day. I couldn't take it anymore, so I needed to change. I've always been a retention NCO for a company since I've been sergeant, all of it, prior to reclassing. So my retention is pretty cool. It's like my local career counselor. And I was like, hey, I have interest in doing this. What's the process? And she was like, I'll tell you what, close out mission first in the battalion. Show me you're serious, and I'll show you how to submit your packet and turn in your packet, and we'll go from there. So first one in the battalion to close out mission for my company, and she's seen that I was serious. First class forward, if you're seeing this, thank you again. But yeah, and that was that. Built my packet, submitted it. About a year later, got an email saying, hey, 8-time reservation for career counselor course. And took off from there.
The rest is history. What about you, G?
Hey. All right, so I'm Staff Sergeant Ginyard. Everybody calls me Sergeant G. I think that's the best way to say it.
Thank God.
I am stationed. Yeah, thank God, right? I'm stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. I am currently on rotation. And I won't state where in Germany, but I'm on rotation in Germany right now. So my backstory is I used to be a 91 Bravo. That's all I did in my career. First duty station was Fort Drum. I had the bright idea to re-enlist and go to Fort Hood. And from then till now, I have not left. And that was in 2018. So I'm coming up on about 4 years at that same duty station. Showed up as a specialist too. And now I'm a staff sergeant. So I got to get the hell up out of Fort Hood. So basically what ended up happening was I went to the retention course, so the DART class, right? And my previous NCO, apparently he was the company retention. Never seen him talk to a single soldier ever. But I went to the DART class. Then about 20 days later, we got on a plane and went on a rotation to Korea. But my counselor did not go with us. She was pregnant, so the soldiers needed some help. And on top of me having my regular day job, I was talking to soldiers. And I made good friends with another counselor. His name is Staff Sergeant Duran. He's actually in Korea now. He should be back in the States pretty soon. But what ended up happening was he covered down on our battalion, and we closed our mission first while in Korea. And when I got back to the rear, my counselor asked me, she said, hey, you know, you did such a great job. What do you think about being a counselor? And I told her straight up, listen, I'm not going to ask you, but if you feel like I should be able to do this, then I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know, I wanted to be a counselor because I seen what they was doing. I seen how chill it was.
Right.
But I went in there with the intent of I'm not going to ask for it. I'm going to earn it. So lo and behold, she said, listen, we just closed our next mission. So start putting your stuff together. And she kind of put my feet to the fire. That's the best way I can say it is she said, listen, bring me all your stuff, your NCOERs, letter recommendations, and the rest is up to me. I held out on bringing NCOERs. I was being lazy. She said, listen, I'm ready. What about you? And I was like, all right, you know what, let's do it. Now, push comes to shove, and kind of like a lucky situation, and how I ended up meeting y'all is I wasn't supposed to go to school until April of 2022. So by the time I dropped my packet to the time I was supposed to go to school was going to be about a year and like some months. It just so happens that another soldier that put a packet in and got approved, she was going through a med board process. So they said, hey, G, you know, we got a opening. Do you think you can take it? And I was like, you know, I didn't want to be like,
I'm so glad you picked it, bro. I am so glad you chose to go.
I was like, nah, I'm not. I didn't want to say like, nah, I'm not ready, but you know what I'm saying? I've always been taught if somebody offers you something, fucking take it, especially in the Army. Especially in the Army, you know what I'm saying? So from the day they told me to the day I actually showed up and met y'all was fucking 3 weeks. So I had to get my shit together and show up, and lo and behold, here I am.
I am so happy that happened, man. Gee, I love you, bro. Let me put that out there. Mcbane, go ahead. Talk about how this all became where we got to meet you too.
So I'm Staff Sergeant Mcbane. I'm over at Fort Bliss, Texas. I'm over 40th BEB. So before I was the 88 Hotel, and I always get, oh my God, what's the 88 Hotel? Cargo special. We drove big old Kalmars, Atlases. Honestly, garbage. I'm not gonna lie. I became the retention NCO, and I'm gonna say the most probably like cliche thing, but I love talking to soldiers.
Okay.
I did this because I love talking to soldiers, not in the sense of like soldiering, but in the sense of like just trying to help them out further their career. So became the retention NCO back at Fort Eustis. Loved it there. Shout out to the 7th TBX team. And it's honestly history from that. Like I just literally started working at brigade under the career counselors there. I would literally be on retain. I'd be making timelines. And luckily though, my packet actually got approved before I picked up 6. So I almost
y'all remember she was a staff sergeant when she came to the course.
Yeah, she was hot shit.
But I mean, after that, it was history. I met y'all. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna make no friends. I looked at y'all and I was like, okay.
Relax.
But yeah, I love it. I love the shit.
Man, I'll tell you. All right, so I was a 91 Echo. I was a welder. And a 91 Bravo will tell you we don't even fucking do our job, right? Because they rather
not unless you're in the ABC team, man.
Right. No, I was in the ABC. What I almost said ABCP. I was in the armored brigade combat team, and they shoved my ass in the fucking orderly room. But the reason, like, if I was on, like, with the maintenance group, I was just recovery. I was unlicensed Hotel 8. And I recovered the shit out of anything. But long story short, like, I was like from Fort Riley, I was always stuck in the orderly room doing arms room stuff and training room stuff and shit like that, right? And then I fucking go to Japan. Even when I chose Japan, I didn't even know what a career counselor was at that time. Some dudes just say, "Hey, you got to re-enlist." All right, whatever. Raise my right hand. I said, as long as my ass is going to Japan, I was straight. Go to Japan, put me right back in the orderly room. Put me right back in the arms room. I was stuck for another 2 years. Long story short, my first sergeant, shout out, she just retired in a couple of weeks ago. She was at Fort Lee. Shout out to First Sergeant White. Just one day, she was like, "Hey, Sergeant File, you about to go to retention school." I was like, "I don't want to do that." Yeah, you're going, and it's in Korea. I was like, "All right, yeah, I want to do that." I was like, "All right, let's go." So they TDY my ass up there to Humphreys. I was there for a week, got that dark class, graduated. The best part about it was, shout out to my boy Drew, one of the motor sergeants. His neighbor, we used to always go cook out. His neighbor was actually our career counselor. So we used to just chill, you know what I'm saying, barbecue, drink, all that good stuff. And you know, we got to know each other. And he knew I went to the dark class because, you know, he had to put the 4187 in and shit. But then he was like, "Man," he was like, like, your ass need to really think about this. You really could be a real good career counselor. I'm like, "What you mean?" He was like, "I didn't even know that was MOS." Remember, like, before we started, y'all already know how mad I was with people thinking I was a retention NCO still. But
Right.
he was like, he said that.
All of us.
I was like, he started spitting the game about the life of one. And I was like, just like what y'all were saying about family time, I'm talking about 2,100 days in the motor pool. Like, I come home, everyone's asleep. I have to be there early. I don't do PT because I have to get in early. I was like, the family time wasn't there, and he used to always be at home. But dude, I'm telling you, if he didn't have an appointment, my bad, Paul. Like, I know I'm snitching on you right now, but he, like, if you didn't have an appointment, or if you did, he'll just pull up like, "Oh, you at my office? I'll be there in 10. I had a meeting." So he'll come back, go to his office, do what he got to do. I'm like, man, this is the life. And it got me. Like, I remember Wilson, when we went to school, he started talking about, what's the reason you became one? And he started talking about no soldiers, no staff duty. He kept it real. he kept it all the way real. And I'm like, man, that's honestly the truth. Like, people, and you know, my battalion's probably looking, but they've been trying to throw me in the field for the longest. I'm like, nah, you ain't throwing me in the field. He goes, "What's the problem?" He's like, give me at least 75% of my battalion out there, then I'll go. Like, you're not gonna just, bro. They were having these fields where it was just the battalion staff. Just the battalion staff go to the field. Like, what do you want me to do with a bunch of officers and in-depth E7s? Like, I'm not gonna produce
Re-enlist
nothing.
them again.
I'm not gonna.
For another
But yeah, like, long story short, like, I fell in love with it, just like what you said. If y'all know me, I love to talk, but helping soldiers, like, figure out their life, because some of these people don't know what, you know, they're less from rights. Like, that was the best part, and doing it now is just, it's a blessing. I'm so glad, because it almost felt like, I'm telling you, just like G said, we weren't gonna meet it, y'all weren't gonna meet me either, because the one that recommended me had the PCS, the hood, and he was do you know Sergeant First Class Melendez, G?
Nah. I don't
Yeah,
know
he was about, like, done. He was about retired, so you probably didn't see him, but he was my recommender. And then we had a Sergeant Littell, and, like, I'm not gonna say he fumbled it, but I had to keep asking about my packet, and to the point where my first sergeant had to, like, I told my first sergeant, bro, I'm like four months away from ETSing. I'm like, my packet never came back. I was like, "What's up?" And my first sergeant made the magic happen. And then, you know, I re-enlisted, found out I was going to drum, and then I knew the time that I was going. It was last year around July, right? July 10th, 11th, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And then when we got to that schoolhouse, I turned around, you go Martinez and Mcbane. That's the first two people I met. Going through that height and weight where Sergeant Vereen over here choking us with the damn tape. But we talked about the upcoming, like, putting the packet, getting into the schoolhouse. I want to talk about September 3rd, after we graduated, got our badge. You know, we did our crying and hugging and saying goodbye. We get back. I'll tell you like this, man. That first week home, I was like, it was hard. It was really hard. I'm looking at the time, like, man, this is the time Montana knocks on my door to go downstairs to the smoke pit. I'm like, damn. But now it's my son knocking on my door to go play outside. I'm like, damn. Like, I gotta get used to being back with my family again. But I tell you like this. I'm gonna start with Wilson. Like, like, going back, because I know how sad I was when I seen you. Because me and you were in the airport, and a few others just saying goodbye to everybody. Going to your new duty station, becoming the career counselor there. Tell me about your division team, and tell me about when you first started.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to when we graduated. So I went back to my home station, which was Joint Base Lewiston Ford, Washington, right? And I had about a 2-month window before I left there to come up here to Alaska. So in that 2-month window, the retention team to my brigade were like super supportive, and they're like, "Hey, you're badged now. Come sit here in the hot seat for a day or two. I'll shadow you and counsel these soldiers. Let me see how you do, right?" So I had a lot of first, immediate hands-on experience with some great career counselors. Stefan Mitchell, you're the man. But he was like, "Hey, this next contract, guess what? You're gonna do it from front to end. You're gonna build the soldier, do the timeline." Uh, one of these soldiers ended up having like a $72,000 bonus for option 3. So I'm like, "Ooh," you know what I mean? But it kind of
I would have been scared. Shit.
Don't bounce that
yeah,
shit.
I haven't freaking do a bonus check like twice in that damn thing, man. I'm like, "Hey, you sure this is right?" Like, I'm not hitting confirm and come back on me. Hell no. But so that was like super super cool. And then they're like, "Hey man, how you was clearing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm pretty much already done. It's got CIF." They're like, "Hey bro, if you have family stuff going on, just go home, stay home. We don't need you here. You're kind of floating right now." And the battalion command team was super cool. They was a full-time retention NCO at the time before I went to the school. But coming time to PCSing and getting here to Alaska, right? That was when like the nerves started kicking in. So I drove from Washington through Canada all the way up to Alaska, and that was an event of itself. But on my way up, apparently we had a new brigade senior come in, and I was still driving on the interstate, and I got a random phone call from a Fort Knox number. I'm like, "Who's calling me from Fort Knox?" You know what I mean? Long story short, it's my senior who I have now. And she's like, "Hey, Sergeant Wilson, this is, Master Sergeant so-and-so. I'm your new senior. I just got here to Alaska a couple weeks ago. We're both new to this place. How's everything going? How's transitioning?" Super supportive. Like every day she would shoot me a text or call me and be like, "Hey, how's it going? You need any help? No, all right, cool. Look forward to meeting you in person, X, Y, and Z." So as soon as I got on ground to Fort Wainwright, Alaska, same thing happened, her as well as other career counselors in the brigade were reaching out to me saying, "Hey, do you need anything? X, Y, and Z. We're here for you." So then fast forward about a month, I'm now in process. I do left seat, right seat with my battalion. I'm in the brigade support battalion, a BSB. It's kind of like you, Fred. We got 88 mics, truck drivers. We got mechanics, company full of medics, and then your HR personnel up in headquarters company. But at first, I was a little upset about taking it. So I'm like, I want something bigger because the BSB is kind of small. It's like about 450 soldiers, right? But I'm like, you know what? Take it with a grain of salt and do what I can, be the best of what I can do. Let's do this. And long story short, I don't regret one damn thing about it. Company command teams are real cool with me, X, Y, and Z. But you said getting into like the division and the
whole career
like,
counselor, the career counselor team at your division right now, like where you're at.
All right, so
with Sergeant Major and everyone.
All right, yeah. So before I got here to Fort Wainwright, my brigade is known to only have like 50% manning of career counselors in the brigade, right? So we have 7 battalions. They used to only have 4 counselors for the past 3.5 years. So everyone doubled down in battalions because everyone who got orders from Fort Wainwright somehow got out of them.
Of course.
So with me coming up here, and then eventually Tute from our class, he's up here as well. So this is the first time in like 3 years where they had every single battalion filled with the counselor. So and then we're having a new brigade senior as well, implementing new stuff and new programs, and it's really opened my eyes a lot, and been thankful for what I've been given so far. But as far as like brigade and battalion command teams, the brigade is so like distant away from us. Like I only met Sergeant Major from the brigade once, and that was in passing. You know what I mean?
So they're kind of up there. Is he in Alaska?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, for those of you probably all you Army personnel already know, but USARAC, U.S. Army Alaska, just reflagged to the 11th Airborne Division. All right.
I just saw that.
So,
Yeah.
yep. So it's kind of weird. We have 1st Brigade here in Wainwright. We have 2nd Brigade at J-Bear or Anchorage, and the division command team bounce back and forth between the two. So they have like an office here at Wainwright and at J-Bear as well. So you'll get the division command team back and forth every now and then, that kind of stuff. But usually the brigade career counselor, talks to them directly. But moving down to the battalion, I have a very supportive battalion command team as far as retention. They fully understand what the program is, what it means. Sergeant Major said, hey, if you ever come on a duty roster, let me know. We're taking you off. You have one mission, that's retention mission. I'm not going to have that fail for X, Y, and Z. So having that kind of support was outstanding. And then the battalion commander, he's outgoing, but once again, great guy. During command and staff, he's like, hey, company commanders, if you're not counseling these soldiers and enter their window to re-enlist, you're wrong. So he makes it known that's the commander's program and that I'm here to facilitate and support that program, help us accomplish the retention mission. So that's kind of like me in a very summarized version.
All right. What's up, G? Talk to me.
All right, so my situation's not the greatest. I'll be completely honest, right? So we got back from the course, and within the first week of me showing up, I was kind of jobless, right? So I went back to the battalion that I came from, thinking that I'd be the counselor there. And the senior, she said, hey, we don't have a job for you yet, so we're just going to put 2 of you in the seat. And I was like, all right, cool, I guess. So I went and took a 4-day. And I got a phone call. I got a phone call from the senior and said, hey, you're going to the aviation brigade. And I was like, all right, cool. When do I show up? He was like, can you meet with them now? And I was like, I'm on a 4-day. So I'm like, he was all right, meet up with them on Tuesday. I was like, all right, cool. So get back from the 4-day. I meet my senior, but I already knew that this brigade was leaving. My wife is also in the Army, and she's a part of this brigade. So I knew that they were going on rotation. Now, I was originally supposed to take the battalion that is not co-located with us. But my senior did me a favor. She said, listen, I know your wife is going with you, so I'll put you in the battalion that's going to be co-located with her battalion, so you guys will be together. So we actually live together. She's just not here right now because she's in the field for 30 fucking days. But yeah, it fucking sucks. But within the first 2 weeks of me being at the battalion, right? Left seat, right seat, and shout out to Staff Sergeant Sanchez, really good dude. But within the first week, I showed up and we did left seat, right seat for like 3 days. And then he went on leave and took over the battalion that I was supposed to take over. Now, after I took over that battalion, obviously I introduced myself to my sergeant major, my BC. My sergeant major said, hey, listen, we're leaving. I need you to have your bags in the container by Friday. I'm like, all right, cool. No problem. I'm all for it. And he got on the plane, left, and my BC stayed back. And come to find out, my BC didn't end up going. So now my battalion doesn't have a BC. So now I get on the plane and I show up. And it was a little bit tough in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of y'all been on a rotation or overseas with your unit, but there's a lot of different shit you got to do. Like you got to talk to S6, you got to get S1 straight, like all them S shops, you got to talk to them, get your pay, get all this stuff together just for yourself before you can actually start doing your job, right? So the first month, no business at all whatsoever. And I was really like down, and with the new window, it really looked bad for us. And my senior was really optimistic. We tried to do what we could, but my battalion is what we call the GSAB. So there's the ASB, which was like a BSB, right? They do all of your high level maintenance, I guess that's what you could call it. But your GSAB, that's the only battalion that has medevac, and it's the only battalion that has Chinook. So your heavy lifters, right? And I learned this, and I've never been in aviation before, so I had to insert myself into their community. That's why I got this mustache now. Everybody here got a mustache, so I figured, hey, if the soldiers see me with a mustache, they might trust me enough to re-enlist, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He's one of us, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I've
Hello.
never come from aviation before, right? The only people that I can relate to is my Echo company, which is all your mechanics,
Maintenance,
fuelers.
yes.
Them my people. You know what I'm saying? I talk to them all the time. I get the most business from them, right? But it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Within the first 2 weeks, they went to the field, and then they came back, and then they went to a 30-day field cycle, and then they came back for 2 weeks, and they went to Macedonia for 30 days, and then they
Mason,
came back,
what?
and now they're in 30 days at some place called HTA. So it's been back and forth. A lot of my conversations with the soldiers are virtual until like the contract gets printed out almost. That's when I can like kind of talk to them. I've done contracts with digital signatures from people being in different locations. Now, as far as my command team, man, it's tough. I'll tell you right now, this is an officer-ran organization, and they are very concerned with flying helicopters. That's like the biggest thing, right? The 15 series people, so your 15 tangos, 15 uniforms, there's only so many places that they can go. And if they don't fly, so if they're not a crew chief, they're in maintenance. And they kind of get the shit end of the stick. That's the best way I can say it. Because like you're cream of the crop if you can fly. I mean, you know what I'm saying, that means that you're healthy, PT's high, all that crazy stuff. But if you're in Delta company, like the maintenance company, it usually means that something medically prevents you from flying, or they just don't want you to fly. You're not with that in crowd. You know what I'm saying? So it's been really tough. Some of them, you know, they kind of want to do things. They want to go other places. HRC has not been the best at getting me those locations. They keep counter offering with Korea. I don't know why, when it's always there.
Hey, all of us, bro.
But my battalion command team, my sergeant majors, he's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's about to retire pretty soon, so it's back and forth. Like I said, we didn't have a BC for a while, so my battalion XO was in charge as well as being the XO. So talking to him about retention, it was kind of difficult. And then finally got a BC, and he's elsewhere. His mind is elsewhere, right? The company first sergeants, some of them, you know, they work with me, stuff like that. Now, as far as my division command team, obviously they're back at Fort Hood, right? So I don't see them. They communicate with us every now and again, but we don't have a command career counselor. We have just our senior ops. There's no junior ops. There's just senior ops. But what she has done so far in the 3-4 months that she has been up there by herself has been amazing. I'm pretty sure all 3 Corps career counselors that can see this, or Fort Hood career counselors, Sergeant Major of the Army just directed that battalion sergeant majors across 3 Corps and Fort Hood have to talk to FY23, FY22 soldiers, and it forces them to get involved. You know what I'm saying? Fort Hood, if you ain't never been here, and especially for the soldiers that this is their first duty station, it'll swallow you up for real. We're constantly doing rotations, constantly going places, and I'll be straight honest, I'm a staff sergeant with a 6th leave, all right? And these soldiers, that's what they really want. You know what I'm saying? They want to deploy. They don't want to go on rotation, because this is just one long training exercise. That's all it is. One long training exercise until you finally get ready to go home, right? As far as my battalion retention team, A1, you know what I'm saying? The people that I work with, I wouldn't pick anybody else right now. You know what I'm saying? It was very short when I first met them, because like I said, we're all separated, right? We've got battalions here, battalions there, soldiers here, soldiers there. So I might have spent maybe a month or 2 with them, and then, you know what I'm saying? But we got a group chat, obviously, so we communicate, check on each other. We're just waiting to see each other when we get back, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I have one more thing to say. My biggest issue, though, I don't think you asked this part, but my biggest issue coming out here is, as far as like, you know, we talk about family and stuff. So I have a son, right? My son is like 1 year old. He'll be 2 by the time I get back, right? But like I just said, me and my wife are both in this brigade, so we're both here, right? So we literally did his first birthday, and 7 days later, we got on a plane, and we've been out here ever since, right? It's tough, you know what I'm saying? We missed the first whole year of his life. Obviously, we talk to him all the time, FaceTiming, but I already know that when he sees us for the first time, it's going to be a little tough, right? And I'm one of those weird cases where it's TDY in return. So I came from Fort Hood and I went back to Fort Hood. So I only owe Fort Hood a year. And my wife is an initial term soldier and she's about to re-enlist. Her window opens July 1st. So our hotline's already up there trying to get up out of here. Right. So it's gonna be we get back from the rotation and we've got to find out where we're going, when we're going.
Fort Drum.
No, sir. Unpack all of our storage, right? And this is well before we even go get our son. So the timeline looks like we might even miss his second birthday at this point. You know what I mean? So
Damn.
it is what it is, but I'm in this for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? I tell them that all the time, and I love talking to soldiers, man. We'll get to the cases that I've had that have gone good and have gone bad, but that's all I got for that piece.
All right, McBane, go ahead.
Damn, what was the question?
Right?
So
You forget it.
start
talking and shit.
So you leave the course. You're dropping off Martinez to the airport. We said our final goodbye, and now you headed to Fort Bliss. I know you had to go. You had to go back to VA first, right? And then you went.
Yeah, so I was TDY en route. So actually, I was supposed to get to Bliss this year, March, because my report date had changed from October 2022 to March. No, sorry. No. What are we in, 23? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're in 22.
We're in 22?
Yeah, we're in 22.
Wait.
Hey, them numbers be fucking you up.
Oh no, because we graduated in 2021, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we graduated in 21.
It's been a minute, y'all.
It's been.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to get here March 2022 because my report date changed, but then I was able to change it back to October of 2021. So I was TDY en route. I had to head back to VA to clear for like a week, and then it was just like on go from there. So I literally had no time to really, I guess in a sense, settle after the course. It was just moving, driving all the way to Bliss, and that was a buff ass drive. Not to mind you, coming into Texas, rock hit my windshield off rip, so I was just having a bad PCS.
This is bad luck. That's a sign.
Okay, relax.
Knock on wood or some shit.
But no, got to my unit, did the reception and processing, all that, and literally before before I can even finish in processing, I get a call from 2-3 soldiers. Hey, are you the new retention NCO? No, I'm the career counselor, but what's up? Oh, well, I was told I can come to your office. I said, damn, I got an office?
You calling me? I don't even know. I didn't even know my office.
Literally, like, so the old career counselor had, before he like left, he had just posted my number everywhere. So I'm getting calls left and right, and I'm sitting here like, bro, I don't even have retain access. I don't know what to do. I don't even know. So it was just literally like, it was no left seat, right seat. I got in the position like as soon as I got there. It was nerve wracking, of course, having to go meet all the command teams, introduce myself, being a brand new counselor. Like I just didn't know what to expect, but I mean, once I got to know everyone, the command teams, the battalion sergeant major, battalion commander, it was actually pretty smooth from there. But mind you, we literally just got all new command teams, so I'm gonna have to redo the whole process again. So that pretty much sucks. But shit. I guess I'll go into division. I don't really communicate with division besides.
Y'all don't do nothing? Like y'all team, like your whole group don't do things together?
Nah.
I'm sorry.
Damn.
So they do.
No.
So they do.
Yeah.
They do, right? They do division training and stuff, but
No, not
my
training.
brigade is
It's just like
What do you
PT
mean?
together, like a farewell for a counselor leaving and have dinner, or like a
of
I
course.
just had a
I mean,
barbecue
we do
with
that,
trailers at a
but
camp
it's not-
house.
But it's not like kumbaya type of thing. Like, okay, we'll go to division to do a farewell or see someone get promoted, but I mean, it's not like we we talk to them on a daily basis. Like, I will literally only talk to division if I need help with a hotline, or if they kick back my hotline, I see it on retain. That's the only time I will like actually talk to division. Battalion wise, it's rough being in an engineer battalion. I'm not gonna lie. Coming from a sustainment brigade to an engineer, it's literally field after field after field, then gunnery, and then ranges. So it's not even enough time to really like grab a hold of these soldiers and like really talk to them, because they're always doing something. They're always somewhere in the field, or I don't even know, doing something. So it's, as far as help, it's a little iffy. It's a little iffy. I did have really good command teams though. I had, first sergeants that were really involved. I've had commanders that really wanted to make mission and were really for it. So I appreciate them. Other than that, it's just been hard with the fields and NTC coming up. Yep, it's gonna be a bitch.
So before I start talking about mine, for NTC, when y'all go there, are you going as a battalion to NTC?
As actually, I want to say a brigade. My whole career counseling team, we're all going to NTC.
So when you guys go, are you guys going to the box, or are you guys staying back on Aruba?
We don't know.
So,
we don't know.
So at Fort Drum,
that for you.
No, because at Fort Drum, when First Brigade went out there, I think it was, they went to, all the career counselors took care of the pregnants and profiles on Aruba while everyone else went to the box, so they can produce missions still. Like, they didn't touch none of the career counselors to go to the box.
It depends on command team, bro.
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was asking. That's what I was asking.
So I'm gonna tell you this right now, right? So I went to NTC, 17, 18, 17, something like that. I can't remember. But when we went the first time, the counselors went with us, and the brigade command team was like, "Hey, listen, if you have a previous MOS that can be used out in the box, we're gonna try to." But hear me out. All right.
That shit's not on my SRB no more.
Right, and this is how I see it, right? This is how I see it, right? So, like I said, I used to be a 91 Bravo, right? So there was one day that I was here. I went down to the motor pool, and I saw a soldier working on something, and it looked like they were struggling. So I offered my advice because I've been through the same situation, and lo and behold, that soldier entered their window later on in the rotation, and they were like, "Yo, Sanji, what's up? What you trying to do?" And I'm like, "What you trying to do?" You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to re-enlist or not? And they was like, "Yeah, let's do it." But it created that conversation well before we was talking about re-enlistment, right? So the brigade sergeant major at that time, he had an idea, said, "Hey, listen, if you have a previous MOS that can be used out in the box, I want you to put yourself in front of those soldiers so that they can see that, you're not just the shitbag that sits in the office all day." You know what I mean? That's what they assume we do, right? So he was like, "Yo,
it's
you
not
can do
assuming.
This. Now,
people really do that shit."
Now this last NTC rotation that my brigade went on, the counselors all went, and they did like all the S shop stuff. They did all the in processing at for NTC, all that crazy stuff, running people back and forth to the airport. They were just admin. And at the end of it, they just did one big mass reenlistment ceremony. Now, I don't know if they went to the box or not, but it looked like they did. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the brigade command team. That's all it does.
Yeah, so for me,
Like,
I showed y'all that picture of us in our group chat. That last picture we took, my ass couldn't wait to leave. I already had my civilian clothes on. But look, see, as much as I was like, I can't wait to go, my dumb ass forgot to get the ASU badge, bro. I had to pay for that shit out of pocket. Because while y'all was getting it, while y'all was getting it in class, I darted straight to McCann's
Yo, you left
truck.
quick.
I was like, bye, see y'all later. Like,
You went outside the parking lot. You're already in civilian clothes. Damn, bro.
I get back. So mind you, I'm like McBain. I'm TDY en route. So Japan, I'm already in. Like, and this is my 1 year anniversary on drone because I get here in June. My wife was here since May, so she already had the house and everything. All I did was come in. We started getting, we figured out what car we're gonna have, and everything's settled except household goods came during the time I was with y'all. I go to the schoolhouse, come back. The only thing I was supposed to take 50 days of leave, and I have a buddy of mine that also had the same recommenders. So Sergeant Rod's out here. We both came from Japan. We both got recommended by the same counselor, and we following each other's footsteps. And I told his ass like, I'm trying to follow you everywhere because he's headed to Hawaii next. So it's like, if after this, I'm trying to go with you. But long story short, I get pinned, and then this is the start of my leave, and they're like, "Yeah, man, hey, I can't wait till you come to my office." My senior comes in, he's like, "Yes, come to my office next week," because it was a Friday when I got pinned, and then we could talk about getting your access. I was like, "I'm on leave," and they're like, "Oh, we kind of need you here." I was like, "Why, bro?" So when I first started, a lot of y'all know this already. I started as a brigade career counselor because one, there was no battalion career counselor for the sister brigade battalion, and for my battalion. Shout out to Sergeant Morton because that's why I keep saying I'm spoiled because he held me a very good program before he left to a different brigade. And he went to second brigade, but he was up and going. He had to go to second brigade, and then my senior was going under the knife. She was going through surgery, so she had convalescent leave. So this whole time, my first month, and mind you, I'm a rewind. In Japan, they didn't let me. They didn't allow me. I don't know about y'all. I'll ask y'all after. They didn't allow me to do anything but just be a retention NCO. I didn't. When y'all were at school talking about retain, I'm like, re what? Or eat that? Eat what? I didn't do a top. None of that shit, bro. All I did was talk to soldiers, and then got to. I was like, here, when I came back from paternity leave, when my second son. My whole plan was to just like it was my last year there because I already got my orders, everything, and I'm like, yeah, just let me, left seat, right seat, the career counselor. They wouldn't let me go, and this is where me and Wilson relate. I was E5 doing platoon sergeants, bro. I have a whole NCOR as a 91 X-ray 40 level, bro. Like for 9 straight months of being they wouldn't let me go. I'm like, dude, I'm about to reclass. Why are you making me a platoon sergeant? And it was like, whatever. So I just shut my mouth. I was almost done with making this life. But when I got there, y'all was talking about retain stuff. So you got to understand that I'm learning all this stuff at schoolhouse. And, while y'all have y'all bad habits, because they say if you come in knowing this shit, you're going to have bad habits. I go, and I'm not a battalion. I'm a brigade. And we went from 4 companies to 6 companies. So I expanded. That's all that. But like I said, it goes into the command team. I am so spoiled and fortunate that the very first, because they both are gone now since last month. My battalion command team was all retention. They always wanted their numbers, and it's because they had a real good reputation. Like they were one of the best battalions on the 10th Mountain, and they wanted to keep that legacy going. So like they were good. My new battalion command team, they're just started. So like they're not even like. As a team, they're not even 90 days in, so I'm not even I'm not gonna even comment on them yet because they haven't got their feet wet. But the brigade, shout out to Colonel Miller and Sergeant Major Ellsbury, that is because they win trophies at that brigade right before I got there, and they like L-efao, better not lose this damn championship belt. That's your ass. And they would do that, and like I said, there's only 2 battalions in our sustainment, and they would go back for your sister battalion over there kicking your ass this month. For production, I'm like, damn, say less. Start talking to people. So like they really involved. And then my division team, I'm talking about from Sergeant Major Bachman, who's our lead retention, with our senior and junior ops, which is Sergeant Goss. You just like he's now newly there. It was previously
A1. He's A1.
Sergeant Blackmore. We just celebrated his farewell. He's going to your group as a senior to Fort Bliss. With his wife, Sergeant Skinner, who's a trophy collector. That's what I thought. We're spoiled with the ForceCom Career Counselor of the Year, who's deployed right now, Sergeant Palmer. The team, every Wednesday we do PT. I'm not going to tell you what we do because then I'll be snitching on my group. but we be having fun. It's very competitive, right? We always have, you know, your quarterly trainings and stuff like that. We'll have, you know, breakfast together. This team, I'm very fortunate, like from top to bottom, from my senior to my sister battalion, who's right now, like you was talking about senior ops. She's out. She just landed to Louisville today. Shout out to Sergeant Thomas, and she's about to do the senior ops course out there at Fort Knox to become one. Like I was just fortunate to have them. Besides that first month being, you know, not knowing shit, trying to balance everything. Everything else, like it started off rough, but because of me, I think it was a blessing. Start off at a brigade, then you throw me back to a simple battalion. It kind of got a little easier, right? You only have to worry about that. Every single company command team, except for one, I'm not going to mention who. Every single one of them are retention. Like they love retention. They talk to me about numbers. How could we get the next person? How could we get our numbers? Because you know when I throw those stats up, it literally shows you each company like who's lacking every month. And then Sergeant Major's like, who is it? Oh, it's this company right now. They don't even counsel those soldiers. By the way, it's like I'll be doing that type of stuff because they're competitive in their own right. So we talked about that. I really want to talk about this next one. All right, I want to talk about FY22, FY23 mission. How you guys are doing? What is the numbers as you sit today, and what's the struggles or what's the benefits that you've gotten since the message book, updates every so often, and what's been like helping you guys out? And Wilson, I'm gonna go with you.
That when you get back
All
to
right,
me
man.
now.
Go ahead.
All right, so backtracking a little bit, kind of off topic, you're mentioning about trophy winners and belt holders and all kinds of stuff, right? Well, up here in Alaska, there's only 2 brigades in our division, and that's it. One brigade's at Wainwright, one's at J-Band, right? So we don't have that competitive aspect with other units in the division that are here on Wainwright. We don't have that kind of, competitiveness. Our competitiveness comes from our sister battalion at J-Bear or within each other with the battalions, right? But getting into like FY22s to start with, like my mission right now is 8 for FY22s.
Is
So I
what?
got here on October 8. 8 is my overall mission for 22s.
Mine was 18.
Oh,
So
the carryover.
Yeah.
the carryover, yeah. So I got here and it was 8. All right. Well, the eligibility roster reflected like 21 soldiers that were eligible to re-enlist. So I had to get 8 out of those, right? Well, as time went on, I'm at 3 out of the 8 right now. They're either on CSPs, transitional leave already, or some other thing going on, right? So I ended up getting 3 my first couple months being here, X, Y, and Z. Now, as of today, I have 10 on that roster. I need 5 left to close out. One of which I got a hotline out for. So when we have 50%, but any more than that, it's a wash. We already considered it a wash because one's on terminal leave, once again, one's on CSP, and the other ones that are still here physically, they're like, no, I'm not going to re-enlist. And when I ask why, one of them, for example, was a 32-year-old specialist, nothing on that, whatever. But he's the only child, and he has nothing to lose when he gets out. His parents are going to be there for him, X, Y, and Z, right? So I've, you get you, right? The bonus message. I can't hear you, bro.
Oh, I whispered so you could keep talking. I was just throwing a 32.
Hey,
Yeah,
30.
it is what it is, man.
everybody's situation is different, all right?
Hey, to each their own, man. I'm not bagging on it, whatever. But I'm like, all right, cool. With the new bonus messages, 22-173, like you said, the low density MOSs are getting some money now. And then with him being a first term soldier, trying to PCS somewhere, hey, 5K on top of your bonus. Boom, here's a bunch of money. Re-enlist. And he's like, nope. I'm like, I can get you. He's from Kentucky. I'm like, bro, I'll get you Fort Knox or Fort Campbell right now. You'd be within an hour away from your hometown with X amount of money. He's like, nah, I'm good. Like nothing is convincing the soldiers to want to re-enlist, right? And then talking to another one, soldier is married, has 2 kids. His wife's a stay-at-home mom, and he's the sole income of their household. He ETSs in August this year. And I'm like, look, man, like, why don't you want to re-enlist? And he was like, it's not me. If it was up to me, I wouldn't mind going to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I'm like, let's do it. He was like, nah, man, if I re-enlist, my wife will leave me and take the kids away. So a lot of these soldiers are spouse driven too. I haven't in other battalions as well, talking to my fellow counselors, you know, and my peers, they're like, yeah, I've heard a bunch of times where their spouses will leave them and take the kids away from said soldier if they re-enlist.
That's wild.
So that's the struggle I'm having up here. I know
That's
it's
a
not
big
just
struggle.
in Alaska, but yeah, now fast forward to FY23s, hey, we're killing it. All right. My mission was 41 for aggregate. I got 14 left to close out. I got like 46 on the eligibility roster. And now the new policy changed, and any FY23 soldier can now re-enlist July 1st.
Thank
I'm
God.
getting
Oh
flooded.
my God.
Yo, I'm getting flooded. Yeah, the brownout, man, got me kind of worried. They put out, you know, no
When
more
they
option
when they
3, 4,
when
and
they did that
5.
1 July,
I'm
I was like,
yo.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Before that, I'm like, hey, no one's making mission up here. You know what I mean? But then like, hey, you know, it's open to anybody in FY23. So I'm like, yo, thank God, because I would have been hurting. But FY23s are doing very well. You know, I'm gonna say this: people put a bad rap on Alaska. It's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's cold.
I'm gonna bring up
in the
drum
wintertime,
next.
right? Hey, the temperature gauge says -40, but in reality, it's like -60 because the wind chill. It sucks. You know what I mean? But it's not bad once you acclimate for one, and it's only for about 3 months out of the year, and then it gets warm again. You know what I mean? Now on top of that too is cola. All right, for every counselor listening to this, if you got soldiers who like money, send them to either Hawaii or Alaska. All right, they come up here on a company tour, guarantee them to have another $1,000 in their bank account every month. All right, so that's freaking huge up here is cola. But and then with us reflagging to the 11th Airborne Division, that's even huge in itself. That's going to bring up new units up here and schools. All right, so like J-Bear 211, they're going to remain airborne, but 111 up here in Wainwright, you know, we're going to be an air assault division. So it's an airborne division with both aspects of air assault and airborne in the same division. So this place in the near future, I think it's gonna blow up here pretty soon in a good way.
Nice. What about you, G?
Yeah.
All right. So when I showed up, right, FY22, done. I had no parts in it. Swear to God, counselors before me. Yeah, counselor before me did great. And the reason why, though, is because them soldiers knew that this rotation was coming. So for most of y'all, and I'm pretty sure it'll happen to you in the future, right? There's something called stop move. Right? So soldiers go on a rotation, they can't leave until the rotation's over. So if they get pushed forward and they didn't re-enlist before they left, that means that they can't leave until
90 days after
the
they
rotation.
come back.
Yeah, until that rotation is done, right? So that's kind of how the previous counselor sold it, and the chain of command was on board. Said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to re-enlist these guys so we know who we have and who we don't have for us going forward, right?" So FY22 done, no issues with that. I had a couple more soldiers that wanted to do stuff. I re-enlisted like maybe 3 or 4 of them. So I want to say it was like 74 was the mission for FY22, and then we did 77. Now, as far as FY23, right, I got a mission of 64. I am at 41, all right? And like I said previously, my biggest issue is the moving pieces, all right?
Yeah,
on my eligibility roster, it's all right, but, you know, I'm resilient. You know what I'm saying? I'm hustling. I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to get people on board. But the biggest issue that I got with FY23 is on my eligibility roster, there's 5 soldiers alone that are actually in my battalion, but they are in a different country where there's no counselor, right? So, yes, I have their phone numbers. I've contacted them, but all 5 of those guys said, no, fuck no. One of them literally told me, I'm good, Sergeant. I just want my DD-214. I'm like, all right, man. You know, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm going to keep re-engaging you every 30 days, but maybe something changes. Now, the ones that are here, it's a little tough. You know, we are restricted. We cannot drink alcohol. We can only go 60 kilometers from where we are. You have to put a pass in to go anywhere else, right? And you can't have a rental car. there's a lot of things that you cannot do, and
Damn.
obviously some soldiers have made some bad mistakes. So mass punishment. Just this weekend alone, a soldier tried to jump the fence to get back onto the post because he didn't want to miss curfew, which we do have curfew, right? And this battalion or this brigade has been on this rotation before, pre-COVID, but they said that the last time that they were here, it was not as strict. And I understand COVID is a thing. We got to stay safe out here, but the soldiers are, basing it off the last time that they were here versus the time that they're here now. They're just like, I don't want to do it. Now, this is my last piece, right? Aviation. Initial contract is 6 years. All right. Yeah, they come in on a 6-year contract. So 9 times out of 10, they'll do a dependent restricted tour, or they'll do an unaccompanied tour length tour, whatever. So like they'll go to Hawaii, but it'll only be 2 years instead of 36 months, right? Or some other places they'll go and they'll only be there for 12 months. Both duty stations that they go to, whether it be overseas, stateside, they get no choice in where they go, right? Branch manager can kind of help them out, but it's needed the Army at that point. You know what I mean? So some of them have been shafted, right? First duty station, Korea. Then they get to Fort Hood, and then they go on this rotation twice, right? So by the time they meet a counselor and it's time for them to re-enlist, nah, sorry, I'm good. Like,
So
I've had it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I feel your pain, Let me show you what you got on the table. Let's talk options, let's talk family life, all the crazy stuff, right? Most of them, even with that, they're just like, nah, I'm good. Now, bonus message, at first it was in my favor, all right? My population is 15 tangos, 15 uniforms. Bonus message changed, no money for them at all, right? At all. And some of them, their window didn't open until end of the rotation. So they were kind of banking on it. Like, hey, I can get some of that money. And I said, listen, man, it might be there. It might not. You know what I'm saying? So just stay flexible. And some of them, hey, there's no money, so I'm good. And I'm just like, you shouldn't really do this. Shouldn't really do this because of money. You should want to do this for the joy of the job. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest amount of money for my population is in 160th SOAR. All right, that's the special operations for aviation. They don't even want to do that. So that's what I'm up against, and that's all I got. I'm gonna get into the good stories of some of the stuff that's happened though later on.
Go ahead, McBane.
So for my FY22, I want to say when I got here, I believe we needed 113. When I got here, we were at 70, 76. Now we're at, I want to say like 88. It's hard, man. The 22 mission is, for some reason, it's just so difficult. But it's just, with the list that came out, for, the battalion sergeant majors to talk to every, FY22 soldier. Yeah, they're on terminal leave, CSP, or they just don't want to. But then I have the ones that are 8 kilos. And that's like one of the biggest issues for me is these soldiers, they're just being 8 kilos. Granted, they did come out with a new, message
that
saying
whiskey.
Yeah, you could do like one whiskey extension, but I don't. For some reason, they're not budging, and it's just been hard. I want to be positive and say I'm gonna make 22, but we almost to the end of the fiscal year, so. Especially because they took away the $10,000 kicker bonus too, man. That was doing it for me. Like these soldiers, like 10 G's.
Hey, I'll tell you what though. Hey, we still have it in Alaska, and still no one's biting on it.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, they are down bad for this, like for money for.
They took away from drum.
I'm gonna tell you right now, these soldiers, even if you throw them $100,000, they're getting done wrong. All right, I've seen stories, and I've heard some crazy, some really true stories. Some they just throwing some shit at the wall, but These soldiers are getting done wrong by senior NCOs, junior NCOs that not looking out for them. And even if you throw them 200 grand, nah, sorry, I'm good. Peacefully, like respectively, I don't want this problem no more. I'm just like, shit. You throw me 100 grand, I'll jump. Just tell me how high I got to
Yeah,
jump.
right.
Hi.
I've got yet to get a bonus.
Right? Like,
I grow my hair for 100 grand. Shit, you gonna see my hairline. what's
right?
what's what's 23 looking like for you?
Honestly, it's going pretty well. I do believe I will make 23 mentions, especially with the 1st of July meal per message thing. So the new SRB message fucked me over so hard, dude.
Can't relate.
Okay, I guess.
Relax.
They took away the bonuses for my 15 series. I have 35 series, 25 series, and of course my 12 Bravos. Man, that was my go-to population for re-enlisting. And once they took it away, it was dead. Like soldiers, like, what? I'm not getting a bonus. I'm good, Sarn. I'm like, oh well, okay. How about we just leave bliss, man. And that's one of the issues. That's like one of the biggest issues. I'll have initial term soldiers be like, nah, I can't do this. If the rest of the other duty stations are like here at Fort Bliss, and I don't want to do it. I'm like, hey man, Fort Bliss isn't like every other place.
Only one way to find out. Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
So
Hey, so is the majority of your population like initial term soldiers, like as far as 12 Bravos?
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So tell them to go to Campbell or Drum or a light unit, day and night difference.
Bro,
So coming from
they want Hawaii, they want Germany.
Yeah.
They
Listen,
want the craziest places, bro.
You know why they want those places though? Overseas does not rotate. All right. If you go to Hawaii, you might do pathways or whatever, right? Which is like you go to those like fucking, I don't know what you call them, like those islands or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Germany, you might do what they call
Some
like
Euro.
HTA or Defender 20. They call it some shit, right? But 3 Corps, Fort Hood, Fort Bliss, Fort Riley, Fort Carson, man, there's no telling when you might end up in Korea or fucking Germany for 9 months in a shithole, right? They, you know what I'm saying? They're not willing to try it anywhere else at all. And I'm just dude.
We'll see with this whole brownout thing, man.
Let's see.
They started moving, pushing soldiers' report dates to the right and the left. I was
yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have a segment about freaking Del Defs and 1506s after this. Just wait. Yes. But I'm gonna talk to. All right, so like I said, how spoiled I am, right? Even though I came into becoming a brigade, so before the companies came over, my FY22 was like 6. I only needed 6, right? And then they added those 2 companies and then made it 18. So I had to like truly like start hustling for it. So I made it. I was top 5 in this is, so y'all know me. I love sports. So I like competition. I like rankings. I like to see where where I'm competing against the rest of the group. So my sergeant major, I don't know about you guys, but my sergeant major pushes out, or at least the division ops, they push out the stats every week and tells you where you rank, right? So they were just telling me like, look, like Sergeant Morton, I love you. That's why I gave you that 6-pack of Corona that you asked for Christmas, because he set me up with a good program, right? So I had a lot of shoes to fill per se, but like I said, if you've seen that article, UVW, a lot of the people that I meet are in my program, and they finally find out I'm the career counselor, which breaks the ice, like how it broke the ice with UG when you were in the motor pool. So my name's out there. My name's really out there. I did not know that shit was gonna get that big, bro. I thought that was a battalion brigade type of interview, and that shit blew up. Anyway, that's either here nor there. FY22 completed, top 5 in out of 30 battalions, and then 23 up and rolling. My mission is for aggregate is 59. I'm at 52. I only need 7 more, and those 7 are aggregate. I need 7, but
For the categories.
yeah, because I closed this last week. I closed out my careerist. I closed out mids a long time ago. So my initials, I need 8 more to close out my initials. So I'll overpopulate just to make sure that I get that. But aggregate wise, 59. I'm finishing. I'm on leave for the next 2 weeks, and almost guaranteed that I'm gonna complete it by then. Me, Wash, Johnson, Towers, we're still so close, and we have a group chat together. We do friendly competition, and there's no this is the thing about Fort Drum's group, and this is just me, my opinion. Like the competitiveness that we have, it's not like ill will. You know what I mean? It's all friendly. Like you cheer
Of
on
course, as it should be.
you cheer on the next person. So like Sar Major Garcia is out. He's out here. He gave coins out, and Towers got his coin, and he showed us. I'm like, man, good shit. And then I got mine. I was like, but we be acting like kids, I swear. But long story short, 23 will be closed out. My mindset, my senior's mindset. I call her mom because she treats me like her kid. Her whole mindset in October, she's like, listen, June is our mission. Like we want to complete in June. But the reason why now, because of brownout, that I want to finish is because now I want to cater to those that fucked up, like their windows were in the brownouts. 1 July,
Yeah.
like I already got my list ready. Like when I come back off of leave, they already know who needs to come talk to me. I already identified who's supposed to be re-enlisting, but I had to wait till their window open. But now their windows are going to open, in 1 July. So that's
You can start looking at options and shit.
And just like Wilson, it's the opposite of McBane. It's like the Milper message for bonuses like really favored my way. Besides 42 alphas, because you need to be airborne or going to one of those like 75th and stuff. My 91 series, they were getting it, especially the $5,000 kicker for the initials. My 36 Bravos, which is finance, I didn't even know they had finance as an MOS, because everywhere I've been, it's always been civilians. They have theirs, right? I think it's a tier 4, if I'm not mistaken. Everything, like every single like low density is getting something. It's catered. The 92 Yankees alphas, period, all of it, and that's what's helping me right now, like momentum wise, to finish. I was very slow, but my cooks, those are one I want to talk about, right? You talked about McBane talked about leaving bliss, right? And these soldiers only having their first impression with their first duty station. My cooks, they're over mad. Like they do so much, right? If you know cooks, right? As a brigade, you work for your brigade defect. That's not the case here for my brigade. They work for our brigade defect and the airfield defect as well. So they're like a battalion. No, it's a company that's favored for 2 different defects, and they don't want to stay. They're like, fuck this job. I want to reclass. But when you're a cook, no offense to my cooks, if you're a cook, you already know your line scores. So, I don't want to disrespect them because a lot of them, took that $10,000 kicker. But this is what's segueing. I'm a segue to this. Your best offers you ever gave a soldier, and the funniest request they ever asked for. But my cooks is one. My cook company is already like overproducing. They already closed mission and everything as a company. But a lot of them
took that tier 5, man.
A lot of them took that stabilization because of the tier 5, right? And then I think they're tier 4 now. They dropped the tier.
No, now they're tier 4.
Yeah. So a lot of them, like this specific one last week, is my very best offer. Okay, Soldier's PCS tier at Fort Drum in 2019. Okay, he's been here since 19. Soldier wanted a reclass, but his line scores couldn't favor to a lot of the MOSs he asked for. One day he came in, I told him, you're short. You're trying to ask as a shortage MOS. You're trying to go into another shortage MOS. I was like, look, chances are you ain't getting that. So he goes, so what do I have? I go into retain. I get a code that says JA in overseas assignment. Clicked it, hold it. I held that shit, and I was like, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. This is the best offer I'm gonna give you. One, he's been here since 19. His report date is in November of this year. Okay, the very earliest you can get after the brownout, November 20th. 2, he gets $11,700 because he's an initial term and he gets that tier 4. And then 3, you're talking to someone that came from Japan and he's going to the better part of Japan, which is mainland. I was on I was in Okinawa on the island. He's going to mainland. So you get the best of 3 worlds. I'm giving you a win-win right now. Whereas if you wanted to be whatever MOS you wanted to be, I can't even get you might come back to drum. Because I can't guarantee you a location. So you get a bonus, you get an early report, and you get Japan. I was like, what better? And he signed on the dotted line. That's my very best offer that I've given someone. And Japan right now, if y'all don't know, is very hot in the summer right now. For the cooks, for the who else? For the 25 series, a lot of the 25. If y'all follow me on Facebook, someone denied that. Someone denied Japan. She also denied Germany.
Oh yeah.
Sarah Morton told me that she denied Italy. I'm like, man, what do you want? Like, what do you? I don't know what you want after that. Like, I don't. If you don't get Italy, Hawaii, or Japan, or Germany or Japan's like, what else? I mean, she wanted Hawaii, so I'm trying my best to get Hawaii. But I want to go, same rotation. Give me your funniest moments. This is our last little topic. Give me your funniest request that a soldier gave you, and what was the very best offer that you've ever given a soldier that you are so proud of?
All right, so with me, right, I don't have any crazy stories like that, man, because up here in Alaska, being Oconus, we have D-Ros, right? So
man,
99% of the time, there's like
I don't
zero
want that
assignments
problem.
in retain. There's like 0 assignments in retain. So everything we have to do, it's just what the soldier wants, going through hotlines. 50% of the time, come back denied. Here's some lovely counter offers of Korea, right?
Fasha. Sorry, I got a counter offer.
Yeah. So up here, I had a soldier ask for, Cuba, Honduras, but with the MOS they had, it was, they couldn't support it, which I kind of predicted. But I'm like, you know what? Best interest of the soldier, I'm gonna try anyways. Came back as a
throw it
no.
at the wall, see if it sticks, man.
Exactly. I was up here in Alaska. Retention doesn't have the best history. You know what I mean? For closing out a mission very often. So I'm like, hey, if they want it, I'm gonna shoot for the stars. So came back. They said no. Like, all right, cool. I want to go to Germany. Like, all right, cool. That's doable, right? 92 Alpha. Looking at EDAS, they're already at the percentages. I'm like, hey, we're gonna try it anyways. Came back, denied once again. And I'm like, what else would you like out of retention out of the Army? Like, I want to go overseas somewhere. I'm like, all right, let's try this again. Where else would you like to go aside from those 3 I just told you guys? And they're like, Japan or Hawaii. I'm like, bet. All right, hotline, sent it up. Hawaii is under strength right now for 92 Alpha. So I'm like, you got a good chance of doing this. I just got 3 re-enlistments the past 3 weeks for your same MOS and pay grade for Hawaii and locked them in, right? So I'm like, Hawaii, Japan, let's do it. So that's kind of like the more far-fetched areas that I've dealt with. But yeah, man, like, I'll throw out the money, you know what I mean? Because here in Alaska, if you want to stabilize 2 more years with the 3-year re-enlistment, you get that bonus plus 10K.
2
like,
years?
Look, man, I can get you $25,000 right now. Just commit 2 more years in Alaska. You're getting paid COLA every month for the next 2 years being up here. Like, money doesn't buy
Throw that
happiness.
money out there.
But it gets you pretty damn close. You know what I mean?
It's a damn good down payment. That's what it is.
Right. Like, I get to get a bonus my whole career. So I'm like, well, I need that money. You know what I mean? I'll be debt free. Happy as can be, right?
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, nothing too crazy up here in Alaska. Like I said, everything's hotline. So when a soldier comes to me and talks to me, they're like, hey, tell me what my options. What are my options to re-enlist? I'm like, forget telling you your options. What do you want out of the Army? And that's why I start every conversation. What do you want? What is your heart desire? Because I can tell you what the Army has in X, Y, and Z, but I'm not going to have you sign a piece of paper if you're kind of unsure about it or not 100% confident, right? So what I do as well is I get a 4856 counseling, right? And it tells them X, Y, and Z. Be 100% confident in your options for when you re-enlist.
Man, that's big.
This is a career-changing opportunity, a life-changing opportunity. I want to make sure you're 100% committed on what you choose. So you don't have no regrets in what you do. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my approach to all this, man. But nothing too crazy.
Before
All right,
G,
so
no, before G goes,
okay.
I already told you my best offer. The funniest one, someone asked for. Shout out to Sean Vereen. Someone asked for Jamaica for sure, but that's like I said, I almost slapped him, but that was my craziest, so I don't have to go through that topic. So I already gave you my best option, and I gave you the funniest one because someone really like he was Jamaican, of course. Let me go to Jamaica. Like yeah, you can go. Just go to SFL Tap and ETS. Then you can go back to Jamaica. I can't take you there, but go ahead, G. Funniest, like,
All
or
right.
craziest, and then best offer you ever given a soldier.
I'll start with the funniest. All right. So I've been talking to this soldier when I first got to the unit, right? The window didn't open for her until May, right? So I was laying the groundwork. Hey, what do you want? Just like Wilson said, what do you want from the Army? Soldier told me, Sergeant, I'm not re-enlisting unless I get Fort Sam Houston.
That
And
was a tough one.
y'all know it's almost physically impossible to go there, right? So
Mhm.
I'm 0
I
for
told her straight
11.
up. Listen, I told her straight up. Listen, I'm one of those people. I'm willing to try, and maybe the counter offers will be cool, right? So sent it up, bro. I didn't even make it past division. They said, "Hey, man, hey, there's no authorizations for this skill level at this location. Uh, RWA resend with different locations." So I took a picture of the hotline and sent it back, and immediately they responded, "I'm good, son. Don't text me no more about reenlistment." And I was like, "Wow, okay, all right, all right." Best offer though, and this is the case that even my own retention team gave me props for. All right, so y'all know it's very difficult to get into 68 series, especially if you're promotable.
That was my best thing. He was
Hold
trying to
on.
be a 68 series. So yeah, go
All right,
ahead.
so his name is Staff Sergeant Matuka.
Okay.
Remember, Staff Sergeant. All right. So he's an initial term soldier. So like I said, aviation, 6-year contract, man, you can make Staff Sergeant in 6 years.
Oh, he was a McBane, fast tracker.
All right, so for, so first time I met him, what do you want to do? What you thinking? And he was like, "Yo, Sergeant, I just put my packet in for green to gold. I'm just waiting to see if it gets approved." And I was like, "All right, cool. Let's see what happens, right?" So, they put it out in the message book about green to gold, and I didn't see his name. So I went and found him and said, "Yo, man, you didn't make the list, man. Like, I'm sorry, but now I'm trying to offer you something else again." He was like, "Hey, Sergeant, if you can get me into a medical MOS, I will re-enlist." I was like, "All right." I was like, "Yo, send me your transcript. Send me what you got for college. I'm gonna narrow it down." I went through every single 68 series in 611-21, man. I was like, yo,
All 200 plus? Oh no, all
no, just all
68.
this,
All
all 68
68.
series.
Okay.
What you smoking? So
Yeah.
My
I was
senior did
determined.
that, by the way.
Listen, I was determined to get this kid into a 68 series. All right, his wife is a nurse. He was like, "Sorry, I don't even want to be a 15 Tango no more. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of flying. I'm tired of doing maintenance. I want to do what I really want to do." My recruiter, he told me 15 series is cool and shit, and I was like, "Oh, it's not," but whatever, right? So I look at 611-21, right? We qualified. I look at ATARs for the MOS that I find for him, right? 68 Victor, right? Respiratory specialist. So I shoot him a text message, say, "Yo, man, I got 68 Victor. I got class seats. Like, what you think?" He was like, "Let me talk it over with my wife, and then I'll get back to you." He sends me a message and says, "Yo, if you can get me into this, I'll do it." I'm like, "Bet, say less," right? So, like I said, he's a staff sergeant. So I drafted up a 4187 asking for a grade waiver, right? Grade waiver gets approved. Grade waiver gets approved, right? And then for 68 Victor, you got to get your transcripts evaluated by the dean or some shit at the 68 Victor school, whatever, right? I text them and say, "Yo, man, I need you to submit your transcripts so that they can get evaluated, and then we can take the next step after that." Gets approved, right? So I'm like, shit, I got everything now. There's class seats. I got the grade waiver. I got the transcript. I'm sending this hotline. So hotline gets sent. He got promoted before, or he got promoted with the new promotion system where you can pin but not go to, NCLES, whatever. So he went to ALC in the States, right? Hotline gets approved, they lock him in for training. So I called this dude on the phone and said, yo, man, you're locked in for training. I need to know, like, how we can do this contract. He was like, yo, son, if you can send it to me, like, Teams or some shit, I'm like, yo, I'm on it. Like, I'm doing whatever I can to get you into this training, right? So he texted me and said, yo, here's my email, draft the contract. This is who I want as my re-enlisting officer. Start punching the numbers because there's a bonus, right? And mind you, he's a staff sergeant, initial term. So 68 Victor, I want to say at the time, had like a tier 6, tier 7, right? And I could have re-enlisted him for like 6 years. He would have got like fucking 40 grand or some shit. But he was like, nah, it's all right. I kind of want a little bit of control over this. And I was like, all right, cool. So he took 4 years with the 5K, right? 10,800 was the actual bonus, right? So I'm like, yo, what's the time difference between where you're at in, I think he was at Eustis or something like that, where they do ALC for 15 series at Eustis, and Germany. He's like, all right, send him the contract. Bro, I waited till 2200 for this dude to get out of class. Called him over. I FaceTimed him, said, yo, here's the contract. Explained everything. Sign here, scan it back to me. I'll get your re-enlisting officer to sign it while you're the one that's here, right? And then I'm confirming this shit on Friday. Boom. Lo and behold, right? He gets back to Germany from ALC. And being a career counselor is a thankless job. Nobody ever says thank you, no matter
Facts.
what you do for them.
Facts.
No matter what you do for them. This dude looked me in my eyes and said, thank you, Sanji. You just changed my family's life. I almost cried, bro. I was like, damn.
That's
Your
dope.
cry, baby.
And what ended up transpiring from that is how I started getting a lot of traction, right? The soldiers started to see, yo, Sanji is willing to fucking go to bat for us. Like, he's willing to put in the work to fucking get us into what we want, right? And then from then, you don't reclass too many. I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't reclass too many people on 15 series, right? Because they promote so damn fast. Like 6-year contract, chances are by the time they're getting ready to reenlist, they're a sergeant promotable or a staff sergeant already, right? So most of them don't really want to do it.
That's a big dub for you, boss. That's a big
Bro,
dub for you.
Bro, I hustled for that kid, like straight up.
See?
I was like, yo, and I told my senior, and I told
Stat there
the
like
counselor,
da.
I was like, hey, I'm the baby counselor, right? And I just
Right.
reclassed a staff sergeant to a 68 series, right? And
That's
his
an AAM
68
by itself.
series
It's an article.
is something, all right?
It's a medal of honor, hell.
For real, bro. The best offer though, right? So that's the best case that I've ever had, right? Staff Sergeant Machuca. The best offer that I've given somebody, and they took it, but I had this soldier. His name was Gonzalez, 92 Fox. His wife is DACA. I don't know if y'all know what that is.
Hell
So, like,
nah.
No.
Don't quote me, and somebody in the comments after this comes out might correct me. I'm all for it, but I want to say that his wife is Mexican, but she was born in the States. She just doesn't have papers. She doesn't have a green card or nothing like that. I think that's what DACA is or something like that, right? And they got a baby. So, I'm playing that family card on him. Like, hey, man, you can't afford to get out right now. You know what I'm saying? Either extend for a year or pick a duty station, because he's already re-enlisted before. He came from Fort Riley to Fort Hood, right? And he's been in 2 aviation battalions, like, twice. I don't know how he got lucky, but whatever, right? So talk to him in the rear at Fort Hood. And I said, yo, man, like, what you want to do? We talked for like an hour straight. He was like, what you got, Karn? I was like, I checked Korea, fucking Bliss and some bullshit. And he was like, nah, I don't want none of those. Like, all right. So I kept talking to him, right? We all hop on the plane. We all disappear, right? Come over here to Germany. And I have a battle rhythm, right? This is what I do every single morning. As soon as I get to my office, I check hotlines, check email. And then all the soldiers that I've been talking to, right, that hotlines got kicked back and I got to wait the 30 days, I check their options every day, right, to see if it just rolls into there. And I hold it immediately, right? So this is that case with that soldier, right? He was like, I'm not re-enlisting, sorry. His ETS date was like in the middle of the rotation, so he was gonna go home early, right? So I'm rebuilding them every 7 days. I'm rebuilding these soldiers to check their options. Like I'm dedicated like that, right? So I check and I see a code that says 14 for overseas assignment. I'm like, this must be some secret shit, right? And I open it.
It's G14 right? Classified. That's what it was.
Right. So I open this shit, right, and it says Anderson Air Force Base, Guam.
Yo, oh, USAPAC. USAPAC.
Bruh, I texted him immediately. Said, yo, man, I got Guam on the table for you and some money. Come talk to me. Don't answer my text message. Come talk to me. Come to my office right now. Bro, that dude sprinted over there, right?
60 to 120 his ass.
Yo,
me
and him talked for a whole hour, right? But I didn't tell him put it on hold. Right? I didn't copy for it. I just held it because, man, I didn't want nobody else to take that.
Facts. That's right? What I do all the time.
I didn't want nobody else to take that, right? So I was like, yo, man, like, who's to say that when you leave this office, that shit's gone? Because the time difference, bro. By the time we go to bed, HRC and everybody else is just waking up, taking all the options, right? So by the time America wakes up, bro, this shit might not be here. So I'm not trying to pressure you, but just think about it. Dope ass assignment, you know, you it's chill. I ain't heard nobody complain about Guam. You know what I'm saying? Especially at Air Force Base.
Only 12 people go to Guam. Hell.
Yeah, literally.
So this is what ended up happening, right? He goes, sorry, let me call my wife. Let me think about it, right? I know what that really means. That means that he really want to take it. He just don't want to. He want to have the upper hand.
Happy spouse, have the upper happy hand, right? House.
Right. So this was at like 1800. Matter of fact, 1700. Matter of fact, right? So I'm closing up shop. I'm about ready to walk back to my office. Back to my room. And my senior and the other counselor actually went to the DFAC, right? And they ran into the soldier, and the soldier said, yo, can you please tell Sergeant G to lock me in for that Guam assignment? So I'm like, shit, right? By the time I get the text message, though, it's like 1900. Bro, I put my civilian clothes, went right back to the office, and said, yo, I'm comping this kid tonight.
Facts.
Like, I ain't letting this get away. Put that motherfucker in comp. Yo, he signed that contract the next day. Literally, he was like, yo, Sergeant G, I'll give you the re-enlistment officer. Just print this shit out tomorrow. I'm like, all right, cool. And then that was like the best two cases right there.
That, bro,
soldiers.
That's some shit right there.
I'm telling you, when these soldiers seen like this kid is re-enlisting to go to Guam, bro, line out the door. I'm like, can you give me
Guam? Can you give me to Guam?
I'm like, yo, let's try, right?
That's all you can do.
This is the last piece I'll say, right? So one of the soldiers that seen the re-enlistment, she's a 42 Alpha, right? And she wanted to go to Japan. And I was like, all right, let's try, right? So throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. Hotline comes back. They counteroffered with Belgium.
Wow.
Right? Counteroffered with Belgium. He still didn't take it. I'm just like,
what?
I'm like, okay, which that's pretty dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? But her selling point was, or her reason why she didn't want to go, because so aviation is a little different, I guess. You know, they authorize what they call like CNAs. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I know what that is.
You know what it is, right? So a lot of the soldiers, they get a chance to use that, and she's on that. So she has a dog. She didn't know she was going to be able to get CNA in Belgium. And I was like, chances are you're not. But he was like, I don't want to give up my dog. And I was like, man, fuck that dog. Like, like, bro, just the
you
dog
know
is somewhere right now, right?
You know how many freaking like parents let their kids stay for a year or two with their grandparents or something so they can go serve? And you talking about a dog?
That's one in a lifetime opportunity. Take that. What? But she ended up re-enlisting for Hawaii. So, I mean, I guess it works out.
Whatever. You got the number. Fuck it.
Hey, listen, after they signed that contract, I disappear. I pop smoke. All right? You don't see me no more.
What about you? What about you, McBane? I I tell you like this. I bet you your ass was getting a line across the. Hey, y'all see that light skin over there? That's the career counselor. Let's go over there. That's probably your money maker right there.
No, I'm cap.
There's no cap in that.
I think for me, honestly, the funniest one I've ever had, dude, 92 Yankee, E5, been in for like 9 years. Dude came from Japan, right? And
What's his name? What's his name? What's his name?
I ain't gonna say our name.
I probably know this motherfucker.
You probably do. He very egotistical, man. So, who came from Japan? I hear actually March of this year, and his ETS is December this year. So he came and saw me. Was like, "Sarn, I'm trying to go back to Japan." Mind you, he just immediately straight up telling me he wants to go to Japan. I'm like, okay, well, when's your ETS? 2022 December. I said, okay. When'd you get here? March. Like March of when, my dude? He was like, this March. Mind you, he's only been here for 3 weeks at this point. And I'm like, bro, you can't. I was like,
you can't see that far out.
You got 23 more months, my guy.
Exactly. He was like, nah, that's not what I heard. I heard you could PCS after a year. I said, I looked down my badge. I said, who told you that?
Right.
Someone without a badge.
So
listen, if they ain't got one of these, it ain't true.
God, though.
Right.
I was like, damn, that's weird. I didn't know you was a career counselor too, bro. And he was like, nah, because they fucked up my D-Rose over there. I was supposed to be over there for another year, this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, well, I'm letting you know what your options are, and this is what they are because you have not been 24 months time on station. So it's just like a whole ordeal with him. He's like, well, I'm not re-enlisting. Okay, so don't. I'm not telling you re-enlist, and you got stuff going you for the outside. Then, hey, man, by all means, do what it do, baby. Like, I ain't with the shits. So, fast forward, he comes back to me. Oh, well, I heard that your command team can sign off on you leaving early. I said, who told you this? Oh, I heard it from HRC. Did you really, sir?
The barracks HRC. Hell.
Oh God! So I called one of my career counselor coworkers over. I said, "Hey, Sarn, can you please?" Because he don't believe it come from me, I guess. So I guess he has to hear it from another career counselor. So he told him the same thing I told him. Dude was like, "But that's not."
What the heck just happened?
Damn, you the host. How you hang up?
I didn't even hang up.
You said, fuck this shit. Y'all can have the podcast.
Hold on.
No,
Wait a
but
minute.
it's the same.
We still on?
Yeah.
We just can't. I can't see you.
Bro, I ain't never seen this happen before. Okay, go ahead.
Discord, like, it's time for y'all to go. Nah. So it was just, that's like one of my funniest, because he keeps swearing up and down he could leave after a year. So I think that's just hilarious, to be honest. One of my best ones that I feel really great about. So we have a thing called like the crew stabilization AEA code. So I guess we're dropping that on everybody. And this one soldier, he's crazy part. He's not even in my battalion, but he's over. He was in McKee's battalion, right?
Oh, McKee. Heyo.
Who's McKee?
So I was working with the kid to get his AA code lifted. You know, did the whole 3340, got it signed by the BC, all that, sent it up. The thing AA code got removed. Kid was so happy. I was like, okay, so what do you want to do? He was like, I want to reclass. I said, okay, with the short fuse training, I could possibly do that. What do you want to reclass to? 25 Bravo, say less. So mind you, his actually they were MACP, they JD that shit or whatever, and so they were trying to make it so where she won't be in Bragg. She was about to PCS, and he still had some time at Bliss. I was like, okay, well, if I can get you the short fuse training, we could try to get you brag afterwards. How does that sound? He was like, I'm with it. Like, send it. So I sent up the hotline, did everything. Boom, kid got locked in for the short fuse training. So mind you, I'm coming back to the office. I hand everything off to McKee because, like I said, that's not my battalion. You can finish the rest. I walk in, him and his wife sitting down with McKee, and then immediately his wife was like, I want to work with her.
Oh, damn.
So I'm standing here like,
Damn.
and then McKee, bruh, McKee was like, you know what?
Who's McKee?
McKee,
You know,
He's in our class.
He was in our
Last-
class, bro.
remember?
Yo, he used to live one door down from you and McCann.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
160 is sore. Across,
Yeah, 160 is sore.
across from Wilson. Okay.
Yeah, we might as well cut this part out.
Nah,
Guys.
everything is uncut. Even what McBane texted me, I don't know how to edit, so this shit is about to record regardless.
Don't play with me. Edit that part. I'll edit it. I'll figure it out. I'll Google it. Shoot.
I'll just block their ass.
So basically, he handed them back to me, and they were so. That was actually, you talk about like soldiers never thank you. He was actually the first soldier, him and his wife, to like thank me for like helping them get the AEA code lifted, because they were being told different things. So he really. I told him I could get it lifted. Like I can't guarantee you, but I'll try. And I did. And
I'm
he
saying,
was just,
put the legwork in, see if it works. That's all it is.
honestly, thank you so much, Sergeant. Like, I really wanted to reclass. Like, I didn't want to be like, doing what I do now. So that's like probably one of like my best stories.
I like those type of stories though, for real, because I've had those things. G said it. It's a thankless job. Like, motherfuckers don't care.
It really is.
But
Bro,
the people that well, go ahead.
It wasn't even me that realized that it's a thankless job. There was a dude that I sent up an option exception for, and all he wanted to do was stabilize, bro. Like, he was a careerist, and he wanted to stabilize so that he could see his daughter's graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And the unit, like, he submitted high school stabilization through S1 and all that shit, but bro, they just kept losing the shit. So I was like, yo, let me try on my end, man. Let's see what we could do. And he ended up getting it. The motherfucker ended up denying it. But he's the one that told me. Yeah,
Sorry, what? Wait, what?
Different story, all right?
All right, so like
You.
all these thankless job stuff. Like, go ahead.
But he's the one that he came to me and it was like, yo, I know what you do. Like, you're the career counselor, and I've been in the Army 10 years, 11 years, and I already know this is a thankless job. Nobody ever says thank you. You could change the soldier's life, and they will, even when they do the speeches, man. I had a soldier that did all this legwork for her, and she looked at me during her speech and looked away. I'm like, bitch, I ought to slap the shit out of you. Right? But
I'll be feeling the same way, bro. Would it be like, I want to thank and I'm
right?
there like, okay, that's
And
cool.
they be stuttering on their words to say the career counselor, and I'm just like, noted. All right, cool, got you.
These are actual facts. Like, I'm gonna tell you like this. Like, everyone in Subtle Flex podcast, this is the longest reigning podcast I've ever done, and I don't care. I'm about to figure out how we're gonna stick this because I've never done over an hour. But I don't care. This is some good. This is some good content, bro. Every time that I've saved a soldier from ETSing and gave them what they wanted, not one person thanked me, right? But like you said, you get those onesies or twosies that come over. I had one that, like you said, G, I don't care how y'all think of me. I'm a very emotional big teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? Oh, McBane, you know that. McBane. We had our conversations. But this one soldier, like he like dropped tears too, because he was like, and it's no offense to the other sister battalion career counselor before Sergeant Thomas, but they've been struggling trying to get what they wanted, and they wanted this, that, whatever, right? There's two stories. This is one. And as I'm like I said, my first month I was a brigade, so I had to cover down, and I got literally what they wanted, and they cried. The spouse cried, and I was like, "Damn, I want to cry." Like shit, like I got
Let's
them
cry
what.
together.
Hey,
Yeah,
It's
bro.
like, give me a
Crazy.
hug, give me a hug. Like
Wow.
this the shit I love about our job. It's like, man, like when soldiers like literally like come up to you and tell you like, man, like I've been begging for this. The other career counselor couldn't do this for me, but to defend any career counselor that's behind us, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's all about timing, right? Y'all know this.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about timing. Like Japan may not be there the time they ask that career counselor, but all of a sudden, while I'm here, Japan's there. That's all it is sometimes. Like so, for all of y'all that are not in this field, just understand that we work just like y'all. It's a day to day basis. Like your bonus might go away tomorrow, and I have another one for that. There was a 68 whiskey. She picked up 7. If y'all know what's up with that,
Mm-hmm.
you have to re-enlist to do 24 years now. So I told her, I started looking at the bonuses. And I was like, look, if your ass ain't here in the next 2 hours, your ass is gonna lose $5,000. He goes, what do you mean? He's like, you got a bonus. I have a bonus? Yes, you have a bonus. But if you don't come until tomorrow, your ass is gonna lose $5,000 worth of that bonus. So that was one of those like thank yous. Shout out to Staff Sergeant Bowman, who became Sergeant First Class Bowman because we did her reenlistment and her promotion. Because I gave her staff sergeant bonus, and she got
Mm-hmm.
11,700 instead of 8,300. I forgot what it was, but she was losing a lot of money if she didn't come see me in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
it's
know
a
exactly
thank
what you're talking about. I had a case just like that.
it's a thankless job, and I always use her as an example when they try to send me to the field without internet or Wi-Fi or any of that. It's like, listen, I have one day. A soldier can lose a lot of opportunity in one day if you send me out there with no internet, and then lo and behold, I don't go to the field. But that's either here nor there. That's
That's a
all.
different story for me, homie.
You been in the
You've
field?
been out there like 27 times. Goddamn.
Oh yeah, I've been in the field. I had to go to the field. My sergeant major wanted me to go out there. I said, okay, say less. I woke up 5:30 on a Sunday, went out there. He wanted me to walk around, talk to soldiers. I do what it do.
Hey, at
You,
least
you
he's
did
involved
you have
though.
access?
No, no access. Nope.
What the hell?
And he
I'm gonna
told me,
talk to a soldier for what?
listen. So he told me, he was like, let me know by the end of by COB if this was a waste of time. And I smirked. I was like, I can tell you right now, Sergeant Major, but I'm gonna keep it to
Right
myself.
now.
Brain. So I'm talking to him afterwards, letting him know I talked to a couple soldiers, some want to reclass, whatever, whatever. And he hits me with the, oh well, you only stayed out here for a day, but next field we do, you need to have you need to expect to be out here longer. You're not above any of these soldiers by having no family care plan, this, that, and the third. Mind you, I'm right now my ex spouse, he's in the military too, so it's like dual military.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me, he specifically said, this is gonna set you apart from your peers, having this on your NCOER. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, wow, you don't know anything. Not one career counselor when I go to the board is gonna look at my NCOER and be like, oh damn, she went to the field. Promote her above her peers. And I was just laughing in my mind. So I'm like, man, they don't care about going to the field. They care about numbers, man, stats. So I'm just standing here like, you know what? I guess if I got to go to the field for a week with no internet, it is what it is.
Hey, I'm gonna just sit out there, twiddle my thumbs, like,
On God.
Yeah. I will say though,
mhm.
for my predecessors, like, hey man, when you get to your first unit as a counselor, presence is key. Make a presence
Mhm.
to make them know that you're actually there, right? So I got here, went to the field a couple months later, and I volunteered to go. Reason being is an opportunity that arose where the chaplain's assistant
Crackhead.
ETS, right? So the chaplain didn't have a driver. I'm like, hey sir, I'll be
Oh,
your
yeah.
driver. We kind of do two of the same thing. We talk to soldiers X, Y, and Z. So I'll be your driver. We'll go around battlefield circulation and talk to soldiers. Like, let's do this. So our major was on board, so therefore went to the field, but it was all voluntarily. And everyone I talked to was like, why are you out in the field? You never go to the field. I'm like, who said that, man? See this on my chest? It says U.S. Army. I'm a soldier just like you, man. Like, showing them that you're out there sucking with them makes a big impact and a big difference. I'll tell you what, though. But retention isn't quite the conversation you want to have when the soldiers are in the suck.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Facts. That is facts.
I walked up and they would look at me. They were like, "Sarn, what do you want?"
Yeah, no. Mind you, like it's like negative 25 at night. They're all shaking in their boots, trying to sleep. Like, they're in the stuff. And retention, I kind of stopped doing the whole retention spiel and like, more of a how are you doing out here kind of conversation. You know what I mean? What can I do for you to help your experience and to feel a little better? I'm here with the chaplain. What can we do? It's like, well, Sergeant, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll see what I can do. I'll get with Charlie Meds and get you over here, some hydration salts, some hand warmers or something out here to help you guys out, And that made a bit of an impact and difference off the bat when I first got here as well.
Yeah, it's wild because when I first got here, so right now I'm in a consolidated office in a motor pool above the bay. So it's me and all the other career counselors in one office where we have like our own little cubicle. So for me, I love to be around the. So I literally go to my company like every day and I just walk around like I'm there. Like I know it's me. So when they see me, they were like, "Damn, I've never seen the other career counselor. Like you're always here, Sergeant Mcbane." I'm like, "Duh, like this is my population. Like I want to be around y'all. I want to see what y'all do. I want to see like how I can help you, what I can talk to you about." Like that's just me though. Like I love.
Listen, so like I said, I come from ground maintenance. I don't know shit about helicopters. All right, but them shits fucking cool as shit, right? Them shits is cool as fuck.
When the Black Hawk, I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh hell, listen. Blackhawks, I'm good. I'm good riding those. I hate them. Yo, I did a ceremony on Friday, and they took all the doors off and left the doors open in the Blackhawk, bro. And it is cold as fuck when you get that high up. I'm the only black motherfucker in there. Shivering. Okay.
I know
now,
the heater wasn't working right.
So it's cool to have an aviation battalion because I done did some reenlistment ceremonies on Chinooks, Blackhawks. I even had them land the Chinook. Dude got out. We unfolded the flag. Chinook took off in the background. All this high speed shit. I'm just like dope as hell, right? But I go down to the hangar or like where they work at every day. Literally, that's like my one place of duty. I spend very little time in the office. I'm very terrible at admin. I'll tell you that right now. My files are stacked up on the desk. What's that?
How's your iPerms upload looking then?
Oh no! Let's not talk about
0
this.
for 20?
Let's not. Hey! She asked the question. I want to say something real quick, bro.
I'll upload them at the end of the FY.
That's how you do it.
No, so listen. I was told to do this. I had a battle rhythm, but they never gave me scanning access at Fort Drum until 2 weeks ago. And you got to understand, so 18th Airborne Corps, like you at 3CR, right? 18th Airborne Corps has their, 100 re-enlistment, whatever. Whatever, right? So, bro, I'm at like 60 something, and I'm like, man, these 60s are coming from this fucking thing that I haven't even scanned not now one of these. Like, not because I never had access. So, like, during leave, like I said, like Monday, I sign out. Like, during leave, I said, you know what? Since I have access, let me do it. Have y'all done y'all IPSE training?
No.
Not yet.
Listen,
I'm exempt. I'm on rotation. I'm exempt.
Ain't no exempt.
I got priorities, all right? I got priorities.
Yeah.
Look,
Hey,
Mom,
I got
if you're watching this, I'll do it when I can because I tried and the internet wasn't working for IPSE.
I got a question for y'all. All right. And I'm gonna go first after I ask the question. How are y'all's retention NCOs?
So let me go first. While while McBane's taking her deep breath. Staff Sergeant Morton, now Sergeant First Class Morton, was a beast. He never needed them, right? We just had our dart session this annual, and shout out to one of our peoples. Sergeant Taylor was out here, right? Sergeant Taylor just showed up. I finally have a full staff. Before him, it was all me, and to be honest, I don't know about y'all. I don't need retention NCOs. However, listen, that's like I said, you can explain. However, I need them because I may spark that career counselor out of one of them because it sparked me. I have retention NCOs. I have once. Shout out to Sergeant Mason. These soldiers think it's just another additional duty, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? One of them may become a badge wearer because of being a part of this team, and that's where my mentality was. Because when I talked to Sergeant Morton, no offense to him, he's like, I don't need them. Of course, I don't need them either. However, so ask that question before I go.
So you say you don't need them, right? But maybe it's just me, and y'all can bash me later, right? How do you get in contact with those soldiers? Chain of command? Or
No, so like I said, so we're all different, right? And y'all saw that article that came out. I have
right.
Yeah, I have that pipeline through that program that I'm doing right now because people see me through that program. So it's not the same for y'all. It's not because like I was forced into this because like I said, I was a Sergeant Major Best. Shout out to him who's living his lavish life in Austin, Texas right now. He put me in this because he's like, I know how retention is. Your ass can't be on additional duties, but I can put you on an additional duty if it's not during work like hours. So a PT thing, because y'all know this, career counselors during PT is a stereotype. Like,
what's that?
Exactly. So
I
when
ain't
they
been to a formation in a year, dog.
listen, it's not the same over here, bro. PT is everything, and my ass, now that I'm part of this thing, I gotta be forefront. So a lot of that came through that, and people saw me in that limelight, and they knew y'all know me, man. I'm approachable, so they come in, shoot the shit, and then long story short, they re-enlist to go wherever the fuck they want to go. Period.
I think it's just different folks, different strokes. Because I
Facts.
need my retention skills, on God, because this between the fields and gunnery and whatnot, like it's hard to get a hold of these soldiers. So when I have my retention COs, it definitely helps out more. Shout out to Sergeant Perez and Sergeant Iglesias. They're two of my best retention COs that I have, and without honestly their numbers, I wouldn't even be making like FY23 the way I'm making it now. So, I mean, I feel like it's just where you're at and how
Yes,
you.
that's really what it is. That's really what it
So
is.
I handpicked my retention NCOs. All right.
I
So
did.
like I said,
I did too.
I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, right? When I got to the unit, most of my population was already here, right? I was not a late deployer, but I didn't get here until December, and I didn't get up and running until January, right? So I started walking around, talking to people, emailing the first sergeant's commander, said, hey, listen, provide me with 2 retention NCOs, right? So my alpha company, his name is Staff Sergeant Jackson. A1 fucking dude, all right? I ain't gonna go into too much of his story, but he's not even indefinite yet, but he's like A1, right? My Bravo company, I got a sergeant first class and a staff sergeant that just came down on assignment. I just re-enlisted him, gave him like 11,200, and he sold 60 days of leave. And he was like, "Yo, Sergeant G, I'm rolling in dough." I was like, "Just throw me $20 or some shit," right? Now my Delta company, that's like my biggest population, and the reason why I picked them 2 is because one, One of them is EFMP, so he can kind of, get in. We can get into like talking to some soldiers that have that situation, and then my other one, he's a reclass. He used to be 11 Bravo, now he's 15 Tango. So he's tried this before. You know what I mean? He's definitely put in the groundwork to change his MOS. Now, my Echo Company dude, which is my maintenance, Sergeant Davis, a fucking one, right? He covers down on every other company when I can't be there. Hey, he's like, hey, Sergeant G, if you need a reenlistment ceremony, just let me know. If you need this, that, da, da, da. If you need me to find somebody, I'm all for it. We actually put his packet in not too long ago, so he's about to reenlist and be a counselor, hopefully.
Hey, throw that badge on that right side. Hey.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to come back to Fort Hood, but he want to go be a paratrooper again. I don't know why. Now, this is the one that
Be smart if you're
kinda-
watching this. Be smart.
this is the one that I handpicked like personally, right? So they always say retention NCO, right? Got to be a sergeant or a fucking staff sergeant or some shit. I handpicked a specialist, right? And I talked to him and I said, "Yo, man,
Ooh, I'm glad you said
you
this.
know anything about retention?" He was like, "I don't know dog shit about that."
Real
And
quick, the cap. I kind of gotta go take my friend back. So
yeah, go do your thing.
I will
Hey,
talk to you
before we go, shout out to McBane. Hey, we love you.
Yeah, you close that mission. You close.
Well,
the
guess
mission.
what? Guess
later.
what?
Hey, I'm proud of all y'all, man. Y'all doing y'all
For
shit,
real.
man.
Hey, listen. Just know that we about to have other episodes, and your ass better be present.
Hey, look, if you don't do it at noon again my time, I'm Gucci, bro.
Hey,
Shit.
I found the
Hey,
good time for Alaska, Germany, and Texas. So this is the time for sure. Hey, enjoy your day, Big
Hell
Babe.
yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. All right, y'all.
All right, have a good one.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
So I picked the specialist, right? Only because like my first interaction with him, fucking high speed as fuck. He was in a retention brief, but his ETS date's not till like 2026. So I just talking to him, he's asking hella questions. He's like, "Sorry, can I do this when it's my time? Can I do this?" So I'm like, man, this dude really might be interested, right? So I pull him to the side and I was like, "Yo, what you think about being, retention?" He was like, "What I got to do?" I was like, "We'll have another conversation later on, right?" So lo and behold, I get him to go to Dart while we're here in Germany, which was another fucking conundrum, man. That shit,
That's another hurdle right there, ain't it?
man, because it wasn't where I'm at. It wasn't where I'm at. I had to transport these soldiers to where they were going, and I ain't got no TMP license. I ain't got none of that shit, right? And I got very little support. I'll just say that, right? So I figured out a way to get them there. And he came back from the course and he was like, "Sean, I just learned a bunch of shit, man. I can do this, I can do that." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yo, go talk to this dude right quick. Let me see how you do." And he came back with a commitment. Like, dude was like, "Yeah, I want to go to Germany." I'm like, "Shit, let's do it." Send the hotline, dude gets it. He's like, "What's next?" I'm like, "All right, you keeping me on my toes. Like, let's do this." And he's not even a specialist promotable. He's just a specialist. He came to me the other day, was like, "Hey, son, you think when it's my time, you think I make a good counselor?" I was like, "And listen, I might not be around for when it's time, but like, you know, start talking to more soldiers, fucking get that spiel, you know what I'm saying? Get that script down pat, because we all got a script.
Facts.
I know y'all all got a script, right? Get that script down and start making things happen, and then build a relationship with every counselor that comes through here if they don't stick around for too long. And then when it's time, fucking submit your package." He was like, "I'm with it." I'm like, "All right, shit." So that's how I feel about the retention NCOs. Before I got to this unit, not one insight.
What
The
about
whole
you?
program.
What about you, Brock?
So for me, right, I got them, right, somewhat better than others, of course.
Mhm.
I don't, like you said, Fred, like I don't need them, but I use them. And when I use them is like my alert rosters, they expire, right? Soldiers come, soldiers leave, they end up getting old, X, Y, and Z. So if I don't have a number for a soldier, that retention NCO is going to come into effect and be like, "Hey, I need to talk to the soldier. They give him my number or send him to the office." Right? It's kind of when I use the retention NCOs the most,
Facts.
trying to outreach the soldiers that I can't get a hold of personally. But I will say is my office is near staff duty, and I love talking to the staff duty NCOs. If you educate them, they're going to share with their soldiers below them what they're,
Mm-hmm.
what they can do, X, Y, and Z. So between retention NCOs and the staff duty NCOs, um, is educating them as much as possible, because I've met some disgruntled NCOs that have
Facts.
been in eight plus years and said, "Nah, after this, I'm done," and they put a bad taste of the Army into the soldiers' mouths. So therefore, I don't like using the term toxic leadership, but they end up being that way when it comes to retention. It is bad talk and bad mouth based off their experiences, right? And other cases too, soldiers, because a lot of people don't like Alaska, which is not for everybody, 100%, But I have soldiers come up to me like, Alaska ain't bad, Sergeant. I wouldn't mind staying here. But the leadership's like, nah, screw Alaska, X, Y, and Z, get out of here as fast as possible, But I'm like, that's what I don't agree with across formations is those leaders that have the experience, bad mouth, and the military and army off of their personal experiences, which isn't the case. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But
I
like I
hate
said,
that. I really hate that shit.
yeah, man. Like, I've only been to Fort Knox, JBLM, and here in Alaska as far as my career, and all three places have had their own pros and cons. You know what I mean? So I can preach what I can and can't say about certain units of certain places in X, Y, and Z. But for the most part, I'm like, hey, I can't guarantee where you're going to end up at your next duty station. It might be 100% better, it might be worse, but I will say this: it will branch with um, the command team you have for that company, that organization.
Facts,
That
man.
sets the
Facts.
that sets the tempo for everything, right? My personal experience when I was a retention NCO before I even went to the schoolhouse, I had a pretty poor company command team. Morale was low, retention was the worst. We got a new first sergeant commander in, 180-degree flip. I couldn't keep the soldiers out of the retention office re-enlisting, right? And it's just the leadership showing the soldiers that actually care about their well-being and their careers sets a huge impact on what these soldiers do and retainability. I experienced that, firsthand, and I'm going to stand by that until the day I retire. During commanding staff, you can tell which command teams have, all for the retention program, and some are like, oh, I got
Mm-hmm.
better stuff going on. Retention's last. You know what I mean? And those companies, look at the numbers and the stats, are the ones that are sucking more than the others. So,
Yeah, man. So, like I said, me and you are on the same page. I don't need the retention NCOs, but however, being the NCO that I am, I like to empower. And like I said, I didn't know what a retention was until I was told by First Sergeant White, who just retired. Congrats. To force me to go to DART and be her retention NCO, even when I was re-enlisting to go to Japan, because I go there and figure out that this is pretty dope. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know this was
Mm-hmm.
an MOS. None of that. So for me, who am I to block the next group of retention NCOs that maybe find their avenue as a career counselor? There's one, like I said, Sergeant Mason. Out of my I built the group because I love being part of a team. I'm a sports guy. I
Mm-hmm.
love teams. My UPW, I love my cadre, all of them. So now I have a retention team. I like, and they're gonna see this, and I'm gonna sit there and like, bro, I don't need you. However, I'm gonna give you an NCOER bullet. I'm gonna give you an AAM bullet, and one of y'all are gonna be persuaded to be a career counselor. And I found all three. So that's where I'm at with that. I want to keep talking forward with you, but again, this is a Guinness World Record podcast of we became career counselors now. I really only do, like I said, when I do podcasts with people, it's really one to keep in touch with people that I truly love, and I'm so happy to see y'all three, even though freaking what's her name left.
McBain
Um,
stepped off. Yeah.
yeah, but like I said, this is not the last time we talk, right? Y'all got to understand. I got Fort Bliss, Texas. I got Alaska, and I got bumfuck wherever he's in Europe because OPSEC. I can't tell you where he's at.
Yeah.
I
They'll
have
figure
this
it out
timed
eventually.
up. Y'all got to understand, whoever's watching this, how much of a blessing this is to make sure that I have some of the greatest people that I've met within an 8-week span, starting in 10 July all the way up to 3 September of last year. And now we're about to end up, you know what I'm saying? It's what, June 10th, 11th. I don't even know at this time. But I'm just fortunate enough to get them on here, talk their experience, and then we're about to go heavy on this on another segment. I'm gonna figure out another time I can talk to them. G, Brock, even you, McBane, even though you left, love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for even giving me the opportunity to have you on my podcast. It's a blessing. It's an honor. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it, man.
Let's go.
Holler